Taylor, a lot to take away from that game. I mean, you scored a franchise record, 155 points, but we know there were a few times you weren't exactly thrilled with the defense. How do you sum up the performance from tonight?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, credit to the guys. I mean, I thought, compared to the last game, we were able to get into an offensive groove in the first quarter and the first half, and we were able to sustain that throughout the game. 36 assists, 150-plus points was great, but definitely challenged them throughout the first half. I thought we were lackadaisical. We knew that they were going to play fast. The paint was a priority. I thought R.J. Barrett got wherever he wanted in the first half. And points, I think he had 8 assists, and they were putting us into rotations. Guys were feeling comfortable from the three-point line without any resistance. And I thought in the third quarter, luckily we came out and we kind of set a better tone. And then when we started really clamping down, you could feel the momentum really shift, despite, still having a halftime lead. But giving up 70 points in the first half is very uncharacteristic, and I'm glad our guys responded.
Yeah, on that third quarter push that you made, you had both of the rookies in there making big plays. Just what were your thoughts on the combination of Jalen Wells and Zach Edey, and how did they sort of change the game for you?
Yeah, I mean, Zach was a force tonight. I mean, obviously his rebounding was phenomenal, a couple block shots, but just deterrent shots in the paint, deterrent drives in the paint. I thought, and then, was pretty grounded on the offensive side with his finishes. He was able to get better position. I thought his spacing on the offensive side was really good. Overall, he was huge. I mean, when we went on a couple of runs and had some, transition opportunities, a lot was his block shots or him limiting them to just one shot, because we knew offensive rebounding was a big key. But his presence was huge for us on both ends, especially in the rebounding, paint defense department. And then Jalen, obviously, beneficiary of some offensive rebounding, drive kicks. His spacing was good, knocks down some big-time threes. And, we changed up our matchups in the third quarter. And I thought he did, pretty solid job on Barrett, not letting him get going after he had really gotten going in the first half.
Coach, Toronto, they would get close in the game. At one point, they actually tied the game, but your guys' tenacity and determination kind of just pushed it forward. Can you just talk more about your team's, determination?
Yeah, I mean, credit to the group. I mean, obviously, we put ourselves in that positions, throughout the game. So kind of disappointing there, but we were able to get out of it pretty quick. So we always talked about, the responses throughout the game. They responded in the third quarter. But, even when they, got it within one possession or even tied it up, even in the second quarter there, when we called timeout, they knew what we had to correct, and we would go on our runs. So competitive team that we went up against, they made it really tough, especially in that first half. But I'm glad in the third quarter we kind of figured out not to put ourselves in that position, what we needed to do. So credit to them to get out of those ruts.
Hey, Coach, started front court. Both players had a double-double in Jaren and Zach Edey. How important was that for them to just have a get-right game after the physical nature of the Clippers game?
Yeah, no, it was big time. I mean, obviously, I just talked about Zach's, offensive rebounding, but also defensive rebounding. I thought Jaren was great in that department, too. Had some big offensive rebounds in the second half. But then his just rim presence, blocking shots, but in high-traffic situations, he was able to come up with it. And that was a big key. I mean, when they started kind of slowly chipping away a little bit in that third quarter, even in the fourth, just trying to prevent them from going on any kind of run, it was paint defense and it was rebounding. And I thought our point of attack defense was pretty solid. A couple of mistakes there, but then just limiting them to one possession after a couple of offensive rebounds I thought was really key, and Jaren was big in that, but obviously Zach was huge for us all night. And obviously I think I can't remember, scored 20-plus second chance points or something, and Zach was a huge, factor in that area.
Yeah, I don't want to overdo it on the Zach Edey stuff, but do you get the sense that performances like this, where he really breaks through and shows what he can do, is meaningful for him going forward this season?
Yeah, I mean, especially in your rookie season, anytime you can get, just success like that, small doses, you just keep stacking those days. I thought he had a good morning, was locked in with the film and, watched some individual film with our coaches and kept talking about the simple game plan, and I thought he really applied that tonight, force on the inside offensively, but also playing out on the perimeter. It's not just the shooting, it's the playmaking, him getting comfortable on that area, because it opens up different spacing opportunities for our group, and we knew that we could get to the paint with an open paint. So I thought he did a great job in that area. Defensively, I keep talking about the strides he's making there, physicality. He's guarding shooting bigs. He's in switches on guards, and, getting through those situations is, still a work in progress, but he's been locked in, on those opportunities. And he'll watch the film after this game and just see how can I just find those momentum builders on offense and defense. But overall, great performance by Zach, and hopefully he uses this as a confidence. Hey, this is what I can do, whatever the game's presenting on offense or defense.
I know you pretty much locked in during the game, but have you ever seen Darko that kind of fired up, as he was when he got that ejection?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of his unbelievable qualities is how he's going to fight for his group. I've seen that, on the sidelines when he was with us in Memphis. I've seen it from afar and how competitive he is. I mean, he's never going to stop competing for his guys. And obviously that's one of his best traits because I think he pours into everyone, pours into his players. He wants this competitive group to, continue to battle. And I think he sets a tone for that group and they definitely respond.
Coach, you guys are now preparing to go on the road for a 5-game roadie, going out to the West Coast, which, quite frankly, hasn't been so well for you guys. How are you guys preparing for this, starting with a division game against New Orleans less than 24 hours from now?
Yeah, I told the group one day at a time, and obviously the challenges are going to get tougher from here. And my big focal point is within the games and game the game. How are we getting better? That's what I want our whole mentality to be. I don't want to be looking at the end of the road trip, middle of the road trip. We'll get our sleep, we'll wake up, we'll get ready for New Orleans tomorrow. But biggest focus is what are we going to do to truly get better on this road trip? Great, thanks everyone, appreciate it.